Boo! Just kidding. Happy Halloween, y'all. I am so excited to be here with you again this week. This is a bonus speed build free of charge. So grab some candy corn if you're into that, because here is a treat for all of us. No tricks this year. Not this year, maybe next year. So, here we are, another spooky build, but also a bookish build. This build is inspired by the novella called The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which was written by Robert Louis Stevenson. This one is definitely an oldie but a goodie, because it was published way back when in 1886. So fun fact, right off the bat. According to the Wikipedia page that I am looking through, linked below, there are over 123 film adaptations of the story, which makes this story one of the most adapted from, I believe it was the silent era. I think that's what it says on the page. I don't have it right in front of me at the second. But basically, this number is not including anything that has ever been on stage, on the radio, or parodied elsewhere. The very first film adaptation was released in 1908, so about 20 years after the book was published. And then the most recent one was released in 2008. That one was actually titled Igor, and it was an animated horror comedy film for children. Pretty cool. Personally, I have not seen any of the film adaptations, although it has now been added to my list. The only thing I've ever seen, which was my introduction to the story, was the parody of the novella from a little TV show on PBS called Arthur. Maybe you've heard of it. So Stevenson was interested in exploring the idea of human personalities and how they can reflect the interplay of good and evil. In short, the story follows Gabriel John Utterson, a lawyer who is concerned that an old friend of his, Dr. Henry Jekyll, is being blackmailed by a new hideous man in town that goes by the name of Edward Hyde. About this house, though, Stevenson in the novella beautifully uses descriptions of the house to portray symbolism. So Dr. Jekyll's home is described as, and I quote, a great air of wealth and comfort, which is much like the descriptions of Jekyll himself. He's tall, he's fit, and he holds himself very well. In this build, that would be the front of the house, which I just did the layout, and I'm adding, the basic necessities to get to and from the rooms. So in this build, that's the front of the house. And I definitely try to portray the wealthiness of the interior. I do want to note that Jekyll does have both a butler and a maid that he has hired, for whom I added the bedrooms for behind the garden, which I'm working for here. I end up moving some of those plants and adding a door so they can easily get to and from the main house. Now, on the side of the home is Jekyll's laboratory where he takes his patients. So I believe in the book there's like a secret entrance to his laboratory, but for this build you'll see a door in the front. So I'm thinking for functionality, you can use it as a hospital lot if you wanted to. So I basically made it a mini hospital. It's not very decorated or anything. And I think I did that off camera. So you'll probably just see, do I have screenshots of it? You might have to just stay tuned and see. I can't remember at this point in time. But I didn't decorate it too much because my main focus was the main house plus the back where Hyde goes. And that's also part laboratory, I suppose. So in the beginning of the story, we learn that Hyde bribed a man and took him to this back door so that Hyde could pay him for his silence. So see, Hyde basically trampled a young girl after accidentally bumping into her, and this man who Utterson knows saw it happen, but then took the money for his silence, but he still told the lawyer anyway. The door is described as blistered and disdained, and I definitely put a lot of cracks and tears over around the door in that whole building. So, much like his door, Hyde is often described as, and I quote, pale and dwarfish, and I'm going to try and pronounce this right, but I might butcher it, troglodytic. It's a weird word. Basically, it means like a caveman. So clearly, the main theme in this story is dualities. The structure of the building is different depending on where you're looking at it, from what angle you're looking at. And spoiler alert! Dun dun dun! I mean, do we worry about spoilers when a story is 134 years old? Well, you've been warned. But there is... Basically, the spoiler is, here it is. I'm gonna get to it. Mr. Hyde is Dr. Jekyll. So, in this build, you'll see that in the back of the build, that back section, on the second floor of the building with the cracks and tears, there is a cabinet. That cabinet I got from Realm of Magic. And around it, and even in that little laboratory area, I put a lot of potions from Debug. And the thing is here, Dr. Jekyll's greatest triumph and downfall was creating a way to split his evil side and his good side. Once he drinks the potion, he painfully turns into the worst possible version of himself. Can you imagine turning into the worst possible version of yourself? That might already be me right now. Ha ha ha, just kidding. I hope not. But literature lesson is over, I promise. But if you are interested in checking out the story for yourself, you can listen to it for free on Spotify, or at least that is where I listen to it. You might be able to find it elsewhere. It's about a 2-hour listen, so for an audiobook, it's pretty short. I'm going to link it down below if I remember. If not, just do a quick search, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, I am going to leave the voiceover here for now. I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of this speed build. There's definitely a few more minutes to go, and then we'll go into screenshots. So, if you do like it, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up. Just like that. Then, you can subscribe and join our little community here. And if you want notifications, ring the bell. Happy Halloween!